Hi, Kari. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello. I'm excited to
Hey,
be here.
yeah,
There we go.
lots.
Finally finished typing up my little message. Sweet.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I saw you typing in there. I was like, oh, but yeah, feel free to get started whenever you're ready, and yeah, um, have a good time.
Yeah, sweet. Will do. Thanks for having me. I'm gonna turn my camera on because it feels weird talking to the void. But hi, everybody.
Valid.
Um, yeah, no, it's like it's always kind of scary with everything. But um, yeah. So hi, everybody. If you haven't had the chance to see me face to face yet, my name is Kari, and I am a coach at Major League Hacking, as well as, and specifically the coach for Treasure Hacks. So I'm here throughout the weekend to help support the hackers, the organizers, and the team, and just make sure that y'all are having a fantastic event. Um, you might have heard me speak at opening. If you want to chat to me throughout the weekend, I'm gonna be logging off right after this, but I'll be back tomorrow morning, and we can certainly chat more about your projects, or you can come to me with some mentorship help, or I'll generally be available to talk about life and otherwise provide assistance. Um, but now let's go ahead and just hop into the purpose of this workshop and the purpose of this stream. And so I am a big fan in my life of native iOS development. If any one of you has, I do not have it if you can't tell, but back in my day, that native iOS development is how I fell in love with programming. It's how I got a start in computer science. It's allowed for me to gain a wide variety of honestly really cool opportunities in the world. So I am going to start off this little workshop by showing off a demo of the app we're going to make together. And so I put in the chat a bunch of instructions about, I'm excited for y'all to be joining me. If you're interested in following along, some of the tools that I'll be using today are located in the chat, as well as some more information about some of the other fun things that I've got planned for later this month. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen super quickly. And here you go. So you're like, Kari, what is this? This is an iOS phone simulator. If you've never seen one of these, they're a really cool way to preview the specific functions of your app. And so this is an app that I've built out previously that we're going to be building out together today. And if you're interested in, learning more about it, I actually have a part 2 of this workshop that we're not going to get to, but you can catch it on the Emily CheatTube. But here's the main idea of what we're going to be working on. We have a wide variety of different screens, different little lists. When do you want to wake up, your desired amount of sleep, and how would you rate today's stress level? So let's go to me. I need to head home. I have a big trip ahead of me. So I need to wake up at 6 a.m. I know, that really sucks. And then my desired amount of sleep, to be honest with y'all, I did not get a lot of sleep last night. And I had to wake up pretty early today, so I want to catch up on some sleep. I want to get 9.5 hours of sleep. And then today's stress level, let's see. I think I had a pretty all right day. We'll put it at 2. So in reality, I should have gone and relaxed and gotten ready for bed around 7:54 p.m., which are like, that seems like an arbitrarily strange time. And, well, it isn't. The reason why it's not an arbitrarily strange time is because of that middle magical CSV file that I sent in the chat. So that magical little CSV file has a ton of information about hundreds, I think it's actually like close to, like, I don't think it's hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of different sleep data. So based on people's desired amount of sleep, wake up time, and stress levels, it determines, when they wound down, and allows for us to come up with a machine learning model to determine, what your optimal wind down time is. And so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be building out the UI functionality of this screen. And I'm going to go back to sharing this screen because I just realized I stopped sharing it. But we're actually going to build out the UI functionality of the screen, right? These lists, these tabs that you can switch and change, right? These things, like caps for the sleep hours. For example, I can't sleep less than 4 hours, or I think I can't sleep more than 12 hours. And then we've got, stress levels, capping those from 1 to 10, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of the idea for what we're going to be building out. In addition, we're actually going to be doing the machine learning behind this and determining the wind down time based on, the information that we are given and the information that we trained from our little CSV file. So let's go ahead and I'm going to stop my screen, and we are going to jump right in to development. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing, close that out as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. There we go. So this is welcome to Xcode. What we're going to do to start is we're going to create a new Xcode project. So I just clicked File and then Create New Xcode Project. And now we're in here. So we are going to be building an iOS app today. So we'll click iOS and then Application. Sweet. And then we could go ahead and name it. We'll do Treasure Sleep. We'll make it a little note to Treasure Hacks over here. This is my team. We'll build it out in Swift UI today, which means we'll be using Swift. No need for core data or tests, although if you ever want to chat with me about anything you're related to one or the other, that's great. And I will also say that in the Intro to AI and ML workshop that I ran in 2 parts over at Global Hack Week, we did actually use core data, and you can see some of the differences why, and a ton of really cool things. So we're going to drop this right in MLH here, create the file. Sweet. Got it. And let's see what this looks like. Screen's being weird, so we're going to just stop sharing and start sharing again, because that often fixes things. There we go. So this is what my little development environment looks like. And I'm just, by the way, keeping my eye out on the chat and also in hands rates. So if you're like, Kari, I got a question, or Kari, I need life advice, you know where to find me. So sweet. But here is the general layout of the app right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and get it a good size so I can still look at things. But yeah, this is a general layout of the app. So here's a bunch of really cool things. If you've never developed an iOS app, this can look like a lot, but we'll go through everything we need to. So this is a bunch of general information about the project, including like what iOS version am I developing for, what type of dependencies I need to grant. Am I, for example, using someone's location? Am I using their health data? Am I using any of their personal information? All of permissions that you need to grant, as well as things like, am I building for an iPhone? Am I building for an iPad? Am I building for, am I going to publish this to the App Store? A ton of other cool things like that. So yeah. And then for the content view, here we've got a bunch of, this is a very basic app. The moment you start up, get this little guy that just kind of says, hello world. And, he exists out here. And it's just kind of there. It's a page of stuff. So that's not necessarily, exciting. We want to go a little bit more exciting here. And then we have this Treasure Sleep app thing, which you're like, what is this? What this is pretty much saying is that when we start up the app, I want to have a window group that is going to launch Content View. And Content View is this right here. So it has a bunch of different attributes, and we can mess around with these. Like, for example, if instead of globe, I change this to house, it's going to change the image to house. And if I change the image scale to small, it's going to make the image really small. See? There you go. So SwiftUI is really cool because, I can change the foreground color to black. It's going to change the house to black. And we can change it back to large again, and then you can see it like that. So we are actually going to go ahead and just get rid of this image because we're not going to need it. And we're also not going to need this text. But let's first figure out, okay, so we have that app, and as we see in our CSV, we have a couple of different things. We have awake, and we have awake, we have some information about, people's stress levels and everything that we're going to need to train our model. But first, I think let's focus on building out this app, getting something that looks kind of nice. We won't have to go with the exact design that we had initially, but you can build out something pretty nice, I think. So let's go ahead and start by, if you've never touched SwiftUI, you might be like, what is all of these? What is a VStack? What is dot padding? What is this? And these are all modifiers so that you can, create components and create elements all within the development, all within the file. So it's a way to programmatically create like the pictures that you see on a phone. So let's think about, what kind of things do we want to include here? I think, we need to ask the user for what time they want to wake up. So we'll start by adding back in this VStack. And you're like, what is a VStack? VStack just stands for vertical stack. It means that when we have letters, like if I do text modifiers that are just A, B, they're going to stack on top of each other. If this VStack wasn't here, they start behaving kind of funky. Usually it means that they like line up right on top of each other. There's also an H stack, which if V stack is vertical, I think you can guess what H stack is, and you can see that it's horizontal. So that's a great way to sort of gain additional information about what these are. So, I think, let's see. I think we're going to want to ask the user about, trying to figure out what's a good layout. What do we think? I think we want to ask the user the questions in some order. So we'll do top to bottom this time. We'll do a VStack. And the first question we'll ask is, what time do you want to wake up tomorrow? Great. And then we can go ahead and add in a bunch of modifiers. So if you do a dot, you can see a ton of different modifiers, and I'm hoping y'all can see these. Fingers crossed. If I do a dot again. It shows my errors, but it's just very frustrating because whenever I click off the Discord, it doesn't. Can y'all see my modifiers? Just let me know. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Oh, good. Yes, perfect. Okay, so pretty much TLDR, these are all the things that you can do on a text. So anything like foreground color, bold, monospace, strike through, speech adjusted, accessibility tools, hover effects, on tap gestures. I want to do a nice font size. Like I want to do a nice we'll do large title font. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. You know what? I don't think it looks great. I'm not necessarily enjoying it. Let's see if we can get it centered. So we'll do multi-line text alignment, and then we'll do dot center. Okay, that's a little better, I think. And I think I would like for, I want to be asked, what time do I want to wake up tomorrow? And then I, after that, want to probably, let's think. Do I want to select it next to it, or do I want to select it below it? We can think about that. We can do potentially, let's try it, right now we'll just try it right below. So we can use this fun thing called the date picker. And the date picker allows for us to, see a bunch of really cool things about the dates. So let's see what we can do. We got the date picker, and we can do something like, and it has a bunch of properties, right? It has a localized string key and a binding selection, and it might complain at us some more. I love the SwiftUI autocorrect. It's great. So date picker, localized string key. I'm just going to put wake up time and a selection. We need to create a binding date. You're like, what is a binding date? A binding date here is going to be a variable that we're going to put, before the body. So for a brief intro to SwiftUI, the body is what you actually see on the screen. So the body is what loads when you load up the content view. That's what it returns the sum view class, because that's the sum view you're going to be displaying on your website. However, in the case of in the case of oh my goodness, I just completely lost my train of thought. So yeah, well, the wake up time, we want to put in a binding date. What this is going to mean is that when somebody selects a date, we want to actually save it to something. So, like in any programming language, you need to create some variable that we're going to save it to. So we're going to do a state var, and the reason why I use the state keyword is because that tells you that SwiftUI can read and write to this variable. So we'll do state var wake up time, and we'll set it by default to 8 a.m. Now let's think, how do we set it to 8 a.m.? Maybe date, or we could try date.now. Let's set the default wake up time to be the current time. So, and then we'll do the $, so this unwraps the value. And then our little beautiful view should show up again once it takes its sweet, sweet time loading. So fun. I love when it thinks load. Oh, what do you not like? Oh, it doesn't like the parentheses around that. Oops. Do you like it? Are you okay now? Can I see it? Sweet. Okay. So we have this that's saying wake up time now. So it's actually adding this text. And first off, it allows us to set a different date, which really doesn't work for the purposes of this app. And second of all, we've got like this beautiful header here. Not really one that we want. So what we could potentially do is we could get rid of this, and maybe we could put these in a horizontal stack. That way they'll be next to each other. I think it could use some improvement. We could also do, in here, there's a third property that's displayed components. And here we can pick just to pick the day or just to pick the hour and minute. Since this is about sleep, we're just going to pick the hour and minute. Ooh. And then, so we've got that, and that's perfect. And then, let's see. Okay, that's a little bit better. We've got that, like the tabbing is less weird. Although I still don't like how much this is taking up. So maybe let's not do multi-line text alignment dot center. We'll just try and do just the large title font. And that pushes all the way out to the side, and it pushes both of these out to the side. So instead, let's see if we can mess around a little bit with the styling on here. So potentially do something like change size of HStack. Let's see here. We could do something like potentially a spacer on the bottom here. And that should push everything to... That didn't do as much as I wanted. Boo! Well, I think, we want to get to the artificial intelligence and the machine learning part of this. So we're going to go ahead and just focus on, maybe something like this. Maybe we'll do, let's try this. Maybe we'll do something like, okay, we could do something like, what time do you want to wake up tomorrow? And then maybe we could hide the label. And that way we have this, and then we'll do the displayed components. We'll just do the hour and minute. Perfect. And then we have, that. I think, what time do you want to wake up tomorrow? 11:35. That's a great start. Awesome. Let's go ahead and figure out what we want to do next. Next, we want to do the desired amount of sleep. So we'll put in a text and we'll say desired amount. We'll do desired hours of sleep. Right. And here we can go ahead and, we could also probably use like text field that you can put in a number. We could use a ton of different things. We're going to use a stepper. So a stepper is, when we look at it, it performs increment and decrement actions, and I think that's great. So within that, we want to pass it in some string that's going to display how many hours we've selected. So we will unwrap the value. I've got no value to put it yet. And then, actually, you know what? Let's use the autocorrect. We'll use the autocorrect for stepper. Yeah, title on increment and then on decrement. But honestly, I don't think that one is as necessary. We'll also need another variable to keep track of the sleep amount. So we'll set the default sleep amount similarly to the wake up time. We'll say to 8 hours. Leave it at that. So we'll set a stepper and we'll say, I want to display the value of sleep amount. We'll do a dot formatted so it's nice. And then hours. And then we can do and we can do a value, which is going to be the sleep amount. And then we can do in, which is going to be what are the lower bounds. We'll do it from 2 to 15. I think we're hackers. I think we go our sleep up a little bit. And for the step, this is how much we can increment it by. We'll do 0.25. Great. Let's see if that is something that it appreciates. Do I need to add a 0 here? Yeah. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, so now you're seeing here, it's kind of spreading out this whole thing. And we can, it's showing up as this. So maybe we can add in some padding on either side. Maybe some padding. We'll do some dot leading and dot trailing. If it's 2 of them, I put them in a little array thing. Dot leading, dot trailing. We'll put it at 40. Let's see if that looks nice. Okay. I think I want it to be a little bit closer together. We'll do 75. I want them to almost be on top of each other. 100. 120. 110. We'll try 110 for now. There we go. I think that's good because then no, I don't like that. 105 it is. It has to be so that no matter what the number is, it looks good. Which is still not the case. No. Okay, I guess 100 it is. Because that way, I think it stays on the same line no matter what. Yeah, there you go. That looks good. All right. Sweet. So we got, what time do we want to wake up tomorrow? We can change this time. We have the desired amount of sleep. We can change it from 2 all the way up to 15. And then the next thing we're going to put in is another text variable that's going to be just, how stressed were you today? And, we can do a bunch of really cool things with this. Like, for example, we can add in one of the system images, something like system name, I don't know, person, maybe cry. You can look up all the system images. So I think it's Command-Shift-F. No. Control-Shift-F? No. Command-Shift-L. No. Command-Shift-L it was. There we go. Okay. And this pulls up a different screen that y'all can't see right now that I could probably share. It just might not worth the hassle. But Command-Shift-L pulls up all of the pictures. So I want to pull up someone really, is there a stress one? Like, I want to go for one that's kind of crazy, you know? Want that maybe, ooh, what about, is there figure boxing? Boxing could be a good one. Yeah. There we go. We can do figure boxing. I think it's figure underscore boxing, but I'll have to check. That's figure dot boxing. Yeah, there you go. Here's a little boxing figure. And if we wanted to put these next to each other, same thing. We'd wrap them in an H stack. Right. And then there you go. How stress for you today with our little hidden boxing figure. And then we can add in, you know, a different stepper that instead of sleep amount, we'll need a new variable. So we'll say at state var stress amount. And I'll set it to, we'll set it to 5, we'll set it to 6.0 by default just because, you know, it's hacking season and you might be a little bit more stressed than usual. It's also exam season for me personally. All right, stepper. We'll add in a new stepper. We'll extract the stress amount. And then we'll do, as well as value, we'll set as the stress amount. And then we'll do in from 1 to 10. If you don't specify the value, it doesn't cap, so that complicates things. Now it's loading our little view, and we're hoping that it cooperates. And it's going like 6.0000. So I don't like that, because I want it to be, a whole number. Well, if I set it to a whole number, it should stay as a whole number because it just increments. Perfect. And then we'll also add in some leading and trailing padding. Or we also write around 100 so that they are consistent. And we could do, we'll do stress units for fun. We'll do 5 stress. So we got 6 stress and 10 stress. There you go. So you can increment these from 1 to 10. And then now we want to display what our actual like bedtime wind down time is going to be, right? So we'll go ahead and do a little final thing that's going to be text. And I want to make this text big. I'll be like, your optimal rest time should start at, and then, you know, we'll make it a nice big font. We can do dot font, like dot headline maybe. That could be really nice. Might want to make it even bigger. So maybe like title. Bold. Let's see, font dot, maybe, how about large title? Let's see how that one looks. Yeah, okay. And then we can do font weight dot bold maybe, and then we can maybe, yeah, I think that's good. Optimal time today should start at, and then we're going to display the bedtime. So for right now, let's say we have just a number that, or just a text that returns. So if I put 10:53:54 p.m., you know, I say maybe something like the font here is of type title, and the font, yeah. So now it's saying, okay, font is of type title, so your optimal rest today should start at 10:54 p.m. Maybe we'll do title for this one and launch title for this one, but as you can tell, I'm kind of a perfectionist with my Swift UI views, but there you go. Your optimal rest time today should start at, and then we'll do, get rid of the bold here, but we'll add a multi-line text alignment dot center, just so we can have a nice little view of things. Sweet, your optimal rest time should start, or maybe we could honestly extract it in here. So here, if we say something like calculated, like if we put like 10:54 p.m. and then we get rid of this text, I think that'd be great. So what's the goal here? we're going to be replacing this 10:54 p.m. with something. Like, we don't want to always say 10:54 p.m. That's boring. That's not very artificially intelligent of us. As a matter of fact, that's not very intelligent anything of us, because we're just giving a random answer. So, let's get into some of the machine learning, shall we? So, we're going to go ahead and pull up Create ML here. So, I'm going to go ahead and swap my screens to, I think, yeah, we're going to swap my screens. And for opening Create ML, the way that you do it from Xcode is you go to Product, and then, no, Product, where is it? Debug, so, Editor, no, View, Find, where is it? File. Never mind. I'm going crazy. It's you click on Xcode, and then you click on Open Developer Tool, and then you click on Create ML. It's like directly by shift clicking on mine. And I'm just going to go ahead and open up that little sleepy time CSV file I sent to everybody earlier. So I'm going to create a new document. And within this, what are we going to be doing, right? We are doing, we're going to just be doing a basic tabular regression. So what that means is, predicting the number of a feature, giving other features values. That's what we're doing. We're trying to predict optimal rest time based on other people's perceived restfulness. And we'll call this Treasure Sleep. Again, the author is me, and I'll go ahead and share my screen again. There we go. So yeah, Treasure Sleep right here, and then I can go ahead and save that. I'm going to just go ahead and save it in our little Treasure Sleep folder right here. And then we've got this fun thing that it's still showing. There we go. Okay. Well, we've got Treasure Sleep open right now. As you can see, there's a ton of different things here. It allows us to add in training data, validation data, testing data, a bunch of targets, and a ton of cool things. So we'll do our model source. We'll add a Treasure Sleep. Let's add in the testing data. Go ahead again and add in my testing data, and that's just the CSV file. And now it's saying there's no target selected. So you choose a target that we are going to estimate based on the model. And so I think, I'm trying to remember, what are we trying to estimate? We're trying to estimate the bedtime. And so if we go ahead, go in here, the target should be the wake time based on estimated sleep, stress, and actual sleep, I think. Or should be the yeah, because estimated sleep is how much you want to sleep. Stress, and then wake is when you want to actually wake up. I think it's on, or it might be on actual sleep. We'll do it on actual sleep. And then the validation data, we'll choose features. We want to use all three of these. And then we have, some testing data that we can add, an algorithm. I usually just pick automatic. And then, we can click train. And that allows us to see the training. And then because, this is a pretty small model, that went super quickly. And we are trained. So you can see some things about the evaluation. So for example, these are some old evaluations. So the sleepy time stress.csv at 11:56 p.m., with a maximum error of 699 and a root mean square error of about 176. So this is in seconds, which means that our model can predict the approximate sleep by like 3 minutes, which is a pretty good deal. So now we've got this Treasure Sleep ML model, and this is what we're going to get. We're going to go ahead and save it into the Treasure Sleep project. I'm just going to go ahead and save it right in here. And now, if we open up our other app again, it's going to make me stop sharing my screen because I want to close out of some things. Now, if I open up Treasure Sleep again, we can go ahead and see, hopefully. Nope, you can't. Okay. Well, in that case, we're just going to go ahead and click add files. And I'm just going to go ahead and add Treasure Sleep ML project. Or actually, I'm going to go in here and add the ML model because that's what we need. So we're going to add in the ML model, which is what we exported from the project. And within that, we can do a couple of things. So based on that, we are actually going to go ahead and go into the part where we actually use this model to determine something, right? So we're going to go into the content view, and instead of replacing at 10:54 p.m., we're going to replace it with some other value. So in order to calculate someone's bedtime, we're going to create a function. And I'm going to just call it calculate. We'll call it calculate rest time. And it's not going to take in anything, and it's going to return a string. And within this means that here I want to return self, because it's a function within this class, dot calculate rest time. And if we now return 10:54 p.m., we should be able to see it directly in the class. Yeah, your optimal rest time should start at 10:54 p.m. Perfect. So we don't actually want it to say 10:54 p.m. because that would be really sad. So instead, we're going to make the model. And we're going to make the model effectively use up the data. So let's set our rest time. And our rest time is going to be a string. And right now, it's not assigned to anything. We're going to try and do a try-catch loop, which in SwiftUI kind of has this fun little syntax. So, what does this mean? It means that I messed up some of my parentheses, didn't I? I think it's do catch. Does the catch not get an ending parenthesis? Definitely does. It's missing the return. So we'll return, in here we'll return rest time. And we'll also return rest time in the catch. So now both of the paths have a return instance, which is exactly what we want. And it's going to say the rest time is used before it's initialized. So what we're going to do now is, let's do a couple of things. First, we're going to create the model configuration. So to do this, also this tapping's weird, we're going to create the ML model config. And if you're like, why is it called that? This is because there is an ML model configuration class in SwiftUI. So in addition to create ML, which is what we just used to train our model, we'll import this class called core ML, our module, which allows for us to access all of the machine learning parts of Swift. So we'll create an ML model configuration, and we'll just set it to be nothing. And then we'll say, let the model be try, which means we're going to try and run Treasure Sleep here. And I want to run it with the configuration of ML model config. So pretty much what this is doing is it's saying, hey, I want to try running this function, which is going like running this ML model with this ML model configuration, but I don't know if it's going to work. If it doesn't work, I want you to do this. So we'll set rest time equal to not available. Or we'll do it as ed for now. And you could also, do some error handling and some other fun things in here, but there's a ton of different reasons why you would want to design certain things. But so then we'll try and create a date. So we need to get the date from the component. So what this means is we're going to create a component which is going to get a date from the wake up time that we set. And the way that we do it is we just say calendar.current.dateComponent. and then we say we want to use the dot hour and the dot minute from wake up. So it's pretty much just saying, hey, I know this is currently a date object. I want to change it to a calendar object. And what this allows us to do is it allows us to get the hour and the minute in seconds, which is what our model uses. So we'll do components dot hour, hour 0 if it fails to get the component hour for some reason, multiplied by 60, and multiplied by 60 because we're getting it from seconds. We need to get it from seconds. No, we need to get it from hours to seconds. And then let minute will be component dot minute, and then otherwise it'll be 0, and then that multiplied by 60. And then we'll say, let's make a prediction. Say let prediction be another try. So we'll try to make a model dot prediction where we pass in input to treasure sleep. So our input, the inputs that we take in are wake, estimated sleep, and stress. So wake is going to be a double of hour plus minute because it needs to be in seconds. The estimated sleep is going to be the sleep amount, and the stress is going to be a double of the stress amount. Now, what we want to do then with that information is we want to say, let the sleep time be the wake up time minus the actual sleep time from prediction. And then we want to say, let the date of that, because we need to convert it from a double to an actual date, we'll do sleep time. Oh, it is a date. Never mind. Then we just format it. Formatted. We'll do no date because we don't need it. And then we'll do time. We'll do shortened. That way we can just see only the hour, the minute, and the day instead of seconds because it doesn't matter. And then we'll finally we'll set our rest time to be a string, which will go ahead and extract of the date of sleep. And then finally, that will return our rest time. And then there we go. Let's go ahead and run it through really quickly and see whether we have actual working things. Sweet. So as you can see, we got what time do you want to wake up tomorrow? I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this because it's maybe kind of hard to see. But yeah, what time do you want to get up tomorrow? Hello, I would like to move my cursor, please. Okay, there we go. It's like, what time do you want to wake up tomorrow? I don't want to wake up at 11:58 p.m. I want to wake up at 11:58 a.m. I want to get 7.5 hours of sleep, and I had 8 stress, so they're saying go to bed before 2:15 a.m. You know, I want to get more sleep. For example, I want to get 9 hours of sleep, go to bed before 12:45. 10 stress, go to bed before 12:30, and so on and so forth. Or, I guess your optimal rest time. So the reason why it's optimal rest for this is largely because of the data set. You know, data sets are very variable. This is obviously a very small data set. And so we want to focus on, you know, certainly keeping things a little bit more manageable for training too. Like, you can run into really big issues with training very large data sets because they end up being quite difficult to manage and also can take quite a long time to run. That is everything I had scheduled for today's workshop, but I am here for the next 15 minutes. If y'all want to chat app devs, if you want to chat projects or have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and I will get to them right now, and I'll stay on the line until right about the workshop end. And if you want to head off and get to hacking and you end up building a really cool app, go for it. And I would love to see it at the end of the hackathon. So, thanks everybody.
Thank you so much for speaking.
Absolutely.
And yeah, open the floor for anyone to ask any questions. But in any case, really appreciate you coming out to host this event, even though I know it's late for you and all that stuff. But, and that, as you said,
when you at the beginning of the workshop, you haven't didn't get that good of sleep last night. So
Yeah.
hopefully we can help with that.
Yes. I
Can
I think I think I'm about to just go ahead and head to bed, which will be great. But
yeah,
you know, it's the hackathon spirit. It wouldn't be a hackathon if I wasn't just slightly sleep deprived, right?
that is very true. Very true. But yeah, I think yeah, yeah, Wang real for that. I'm probably gonna take the night shift and stay up until like unholy hours, but
Yep.
it is part of the hackathon spirit.
I've definitely been there. You know, it's a part of things, but
Yep. And if anyone else has any questions for Carrie, you can always just send it into MLH help as well, and she'll
Mhm.
get to it when she can.
Yep, I'll be back tomorrow morning, ready to answer any questions about some of the MLH prizes or any other things you might need help with. I'll be around hopefully to mentor later, and to help with like DevPost submissions or like judging questions, or not necessarily judging questions, but more so like, how do I prepare a good presentation? How do I do XYZ? How do I work on DevPost? So if you have any of those types of questions, come and talk to me. And I would love to see the fun projects that you've all been working on.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, of
I
course.
think
I
we
think we're good
should
to,
be,
yeah, I
yeah.
think, you know where to find me, so go for it. But yeah, happy
Thank you
hacking,
again.
everybody. I will talk to y'all